to our bulletin tonight.
Feel free to interact with us at Purity_Museo and at Mboya 24 at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag to use tonight is Prime Edition. Susan Thuku is our sign language interpreter tonight.
And we will go straight to our top story. Tonight there was drama outside the Milimani law courts after police officers attempted to arrest Migori Governor Okoth Obado as he walked out of SHARON OTIENO murder case. Police did not have any reason for their action, even as Obado's lawyers protested the move, terming it intimidation. Earlier, crime scene officer Lelia Saka produced photos in the court retracing the events of the fateful day SHARON was murdered. Sarafina Robi opens our coverage tonight from the corridors of justice.
There was commotion outside the Milimani law courts on Tuesday afternoon after police officers attempted to arrest Migori Governor Okoth Obado as he walked out of the court from the hearing of SHARON OTIENO's murder case. Obado's lawyers protested the unprecedented move, accusing police officers of trying to intimidate the governor, who is facing murder charges. The court had earlier on been furnished with a catalogue of photos taken as evidence from the crime scene where SHARON OTIENO was murdered. According to crime scene officer Lilian Saka, police managed to recover a torn condom wrapper, a bottle top wrapper at the scene where there was a pool of blood. Saka also presented photos of stained clothes and 2 used condoms.
Photograph 17 has the shoe impression, and that is where the arrow is. Photograph 18 has the torn condom wrapper, where homicide detectives and Oyugis police station officers, together with the Homa Bay detectives, we were being guided by a witness.
But the defense team challenged the missing links in the evidence presented, such as soil samples of the shoe impression and absence of fingerprints.
You know, some of our roads, and quite a number of them, are manned by cameras. There are cameras on the roads. You know that?
Yes, my lady.
In this particular road, do we have cameras?
There are no cameras, my lady.
You asked whether you were able to extract footprints from the scene where the body was deposited, and you said no, correct?
Yes, my lady.
Were there tire markings leading to where the body was deposited? Tire markings of the vehicle?
No, my lady.
I presume, correct me if I'm wrong, that investigation of those specific parts of the vehicle was therefore not your function, to somebody's else function.
Yes, my lady.
Thank you so much. That is all important.
Why didn't you take any the fingerprints, or why didn't you pursue that?
My lady, this was a crime scene that I was attending on the 6th, 2 days after it had happened, and I was not the first crime scene investigating officer at the scene.
Well, as of Tuesday afternoon, 2 witnesses have testified, with 33 more left to testify in the ongoing hearing, whereby 3 are expected to testify on Wednesday. For Prime Edition, I'm Sarafina Robi.
From courts, let's take you to politics now. Deputy President William Samoei Ruto has accused ODM leader Raila Amolo Odinga of being a conveyor belt for corruption.
Ruto was speaking on Radio Jambo on Tuesday morning, told off Raila, accusing him of shielding his party MPs who are openly engaged in corrupt government tenders.
Our reporter JJ Curia is on that beat.
In the radio talk show, Ruto dismissed Odinga's anti-corruption credentials, accusing him of shielding legislators from his party who are engaged in corrupt government tenders.
Mtu mwizi ambaye anatetea wezi ambao wameibia wa Kenya kwa COVID billionaires. Anasema atafunga watu. Na yeye ndio mtetezi ya wale wameiba. Sasa hiyo ni vita gani hiyo? Because my idea of the fight against corruption is that we should remove politics from it.
The Deputy President once again criticizing anti-graft agencies in the country, accusing them of what he termed as corrupting the fight for political gains.
Leo katika Kenya hii watu wanajua ni wazi, ukionekana wewe ni rafiki wa deputy president, ukionekana umeenda kumtembelea deputy president, kesho yake unatembelewa na DCI. Kesho yake
imekuwa hivyo,
sio kwa sababu umeiba chochote. Hapana, kwa sababu tu pale umeonekana. Na viongozi wengi, nikuambie, viongozi wengi tunakutana na hawa leo mahali ambapo pamefichika. Wengi wananiambia, bwana, tutakutana tunataka kupanga mambo, vile tutaendelea mbele, vile tutafanya siasa, lakini hatuwezi kukutana mchana wazi kwa sababu unajua shida ile iko. Nitatumia wale watu.
Ruto claiming the handshake has been used by the opposition to frustrate Jubilee's pre-election pledges.
Tulifanya kazi mzuri sana na rais kwanza 2013. Na yale mambo ambayo yataenda katika legacy ya rais ni mambo tumefanya from 2013.
On the appointment of 6 judges, the DP defended the 6 judges left out, saying they were condemned unheard.
Hawa watu wanaweza kuapishwa na mara moja hiyo allegations ama hizo matatizo inasemekana iko juu yao ipelekwe katika Judicial Service Commission, na Judicial Service Commission itafuata utaratibu wa kisheria na katiba. Wakipatikana na hatia, tribunal itatengenezwa, watasikizwa, wenye hatia wataondolewa, wasio na hatia wataendelea mbele.
Ruto defended the decision by United Democratic Alliance UDA to front a candidate against the Jubilee Party in Kiambaa, saying that the ruling party had on many instances shown no intention to field candidates in the various by-elections that have been held in the country. John Jacob Kuria, Prime Edition.
Let's look now at an item on COVID-19. 99 pupils have tested positive for the coronavirus at Muruku Secondary School in Laikipia County. 4
teachers and 1 subordinate staff also tested positive for COVID-19, and consequently the school has been put under quarantine.
Beatrice Gatonye puts that story into perspective for us.
Out of the 99 students who tested positive, 40 are male, while 59 are female. Laikipia County Chief Officer for Health, Dr. Donald Mogoi, said the 4 teachers are currently receiving treatment at Oljabet and Benedict Catholic Hospital in Nyahururu, respectively. He said that the tests were done after some students developed coughing problems. The students have since been quarantined at the institution. Dr. Mogoi said learning for other students is not disrupted.
We are also monitoring them. So far there is no complication of any student, and we are having a public health officer on the ground coming for review.
These as the country recorded 761 positive cases of COVID-19 from a sample size of 5,794 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate now stands at 13.1%. From the cases, 727 are Kenyans, while 34 are foreigners. 381 are females and 380 males. The youngest is a 6-month-old infant, while the oldest is 96 years. Total confirmed cases are now 189,703. 71 patients have recovered from the disease, with 45 from home-based and isolation care, while 26 are from various health facilities countrywide. 9 patients have succumbed to the disease. All of them are late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits in April and June. Total fatalities now stand at 3,732.
Now to the security update in the country. The government has issued a 1-week ultimatum to bandits in Keyo Valley to surrender or face the full force of the law. Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i says the government cannot allow the culprits to kill more innocent Kenyans, urging area leaders to unite for the sake of peace.
Interior CS Fred Matiang'i on Tuesday toured Kerio Valley in Elgeyo Marakwet just days after 5 people were killed in the area.
We came here because of the insecurity events that took place the last 2 weeks. Unfortunately, we have lost several lives, and as a result, these leaders expressed serious concern and asked that we come and have a meeting here on the ground.
Matiang'i said the perennial killings must stop and leaders must commit to unite all warring communities.
The 3 governors are very cooperative. We have worked very closely with them. It's one of those very rare times where you go to a region in the country, there's a problem, and all of us are aligned. We are in the same room. We are facing the same direction in terms of ensuring that we provide security for our people.
A dozen people have lost their lives and hundreds of livestock stolen in the region in a span of 2 weeks. A series of peace meetings are yet to yield fruits, a situation which has been blamed on deeply rooted mistrust and thirst for vengeance. The government says it will not rest until peace prevails in the region. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Yusuf Hilo.
Ghosts of the past came haunting 2 of the 3 candidates appearing before the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission selection panel Tuesday, when their previous deeds cast aspersions on their suitability as commissioners of the IEBC. Irene Keino was hard-pressed to explain her unceremonious resignation as Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Vice Chairperson in 2015, barely 1 month after Parliament passed a motion to remove her from office on ethical grounds. Gitile Naitilu's ability to uphold independence came under probe for having consulted a government official on the planned arrest of a politician for hate speech when he served at the National Cohesion and Integrity Commission.
First to appear before the Elizabeth Muli-led IEBC selection panel Tuesday was former Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Vice Chairperson Irene Keino, who had an uphill task justifying her controversial resignation in 2015 in the wake of a parliamentary report that cited ethical issues in passing her removal from office.
Was there a recommendation for your removal from Parliament?
I don't know how the law is. There was a petition that had gone to a tribunal. And to me, my understanding in terms of the law is the removal was not exercised.
Keino was also challenged to explain how she used her position to help address the ethical electoral irregularities.
So are you saying that in electoral matters, in terms of dealing with ethical irregularities, EACC as a commission is a toothless bulldog?
I wouldn't say that. I think if I came in, those are some of the collaborative partnerships we can have.
The same fate befell Professor Joseph Gitile Naituli as regards his ability to uphold the independence of IEBC, having conferred with a senior government official on the arrest of a politician for hate speech when he was chair of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission.
Why did you go to the senior public officer to ask for authority to arrest somebody who has contravened the law?
You know, when we say independent, we really don't mean independent in a way that you cannot seek counsel. Okay? We mean independent in executing the mandate, yes. But if there's a critical decision that you need to make in a situation like that one, you need to seek counsel.
Irene Cherop Masit, who vied for a woman representative position in Elgeyo Marakwet County in 2017 general elections, called for regulations to curb voter bribery, which she said undermines Kenya's electoral process.
Educate the citizen that it is not right any voter, any candidate who comes and gives money and bribes you, they should be able to talk about it. Then we need a whistleblower policy.
All the 36 shortlisted candidates are expected to have been interviewed by the 22nd of July 2021. For Prime Edition, I'm Safin Aching Ouma.
Thank you, Safin, for that report. Clinical officers in the country have termed as discriminatory the pre-authorization procedures by the National Hospital Insurance Fund Management, saying it denies their patients rebates for services they offer. They have also termed as unfair the requirement for health facilities run by clinicians to register with the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Council for NHIF to recognize them. They have issued a 7-day ultimatum to NHIF to reconsider their stand, failure to which they will withdraw their services countrywide and hold peaceful demonstrations to push for their rights.
A showdown looms between National Hospital Insurance Fund and clinicians across the country, with the latter accusing the NHIF of insubordination in defying a Ministry of Health directive to amend the diagnostic pre-authorization forms and surgery authorization forms. The forms, mainly filed by clinicians to enable patients get rebates from NHIF.
The NHIF is again going against this by actually coming up with the demands to discriminate clinical officers from giving services to any patient who is accredited by the NHIF. And this means that all the patients that have NHIF card cannot be seen, including a clinical officer who pay to NHIF, cannot be seen by a colleague.
The clinicians also termed as discriminatory the requirement for facilities run by clinical officers to be registered by the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Council.
They have decided that only a facility that is registered under KMPDC, notwithstanding the fact that there is an Act of Parliament number 20 of 2017 for clinic officers that provides that the facilities for clinic officers shall be registered by Clinic Officers Council. Then they tell you that you have to have a license from KMPDC for your facility to be declared as a hospital by NHIF.
Speaking to Channel 1 on phone, NHIF CEO Peter Kamunyo sought to set the record straight.
Before we contract or empanel any provider, they must be fully registered according to the law. And it is, I would like to clarify that the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Council is the only body mandated under Section 4 and 15 of the Medical Practitioners and Dentist Act, and that is Cap 253, to carry out such function. In terms of the pre-authorization and the services that clinical officers are allowed as per the law and as per their qualifications. As of today, they are allowed to do surgeries, anesthesiology, optical work, dental work, according to their qualifications.
The proposed amendment to NHIF Act, currently before Parliament, will expand the range of healthcare service providers accessible to Kenyans. Caroline Kamau reporting for Prime Edition.
Very well, a good place to take a breather.
Absolutely. Remember, we are live on all our social media platforms. Use the hashtag Prime Edition to engage us on Twitter.
That's right. Stay with us, don't go away. We'll be back shortly.
Nissan Serena ndio hii, na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS, alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
To get Skizatune Hail Mary, dial *811 *963 hash.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
To get Hail Mary, dial *811 *963 hash, *811 *963 hash.
I am only here to help you.
So am I. Ama hii session leo pengine ya bure.
Ikiwa yote watu uhai itakuwa mimi kunishona mdomo.
Sema nini wewe?
Na wewe mwenyewe hata sijui sampuli gani. Wewe huyu wakuta majina kila sampuli, wewe uko hivi hivi tu. Bwana ndio anakulipa mshahara huyu.
Ujeuri wako umezidi yani kabisa.
Welcome to the second part of Prime Edition. Uncertainty surrounds a deal signed by the Teachers Service Commission and teachers' unions.
And the teachers' unions are uneasy with the deal and wants it revealed within 1 year on grounds that the basic salary increment was not factored in.
Nancy Okware tells us more.
Hours of deliberations between the Teachers Service Commission, Kenya Union of Teachers, Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education and KUSNET almost ended with no deal.
Allow us to communicate to you when we are back.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
The teachers' unions walking out of the meeting for further closed-door deliberations, leaving the TSC officials making frantic calls. Hours later, the teachers' unions would emerge to sign the 2021-2025 collective bargaining agreement. However, with conditions on the basic salary increment clause.
The basic pay was supposed to be, according to KUPPET, between 30 and 70% increment. But that one has not been factored in the agreement that we have signed today. All other issues are agreeable, and we hope that members will bear with the circumstances.
I want to assure them that as we sit to look at the economy improve, room to fight for your basic salaries is there.
The Teachers Service Commission maintaining that its doors remained open for further negotiations, even as they cited the recent directive by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission suspending review of basic salary structure and other benefits.
We have signed, but there is room for openings if if things actually get better in the country.
The unions had previously maintained that teachers expected nothing short of salary increment to cushion them against inflation and the burden of increased workload under the competency-based curriculum. Following the signing of this collective bargaining agreement, the teachers' unions are still not content following the omission of the bit on the basic salary, and they hope that these will be reviewed within the next 1 year. Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Now something is happening in Migori County, and it is boosting the economic status of the residents in a very, very big way.
And this thanks to the REGREENING Africa, a project that works with farmers to rehabilitate degraded land with the aim of improving livelihoods, food security, and boost resilience of small-scale farming to climate change.
So the question is, how does it work? Purity Museo, who has been doing a good job lately, was in Migori and filed the following report.
Take a look. Migori County in Kenya is home to 1.1 million people, according to the Kenya National Census of 2019. People here are dependent on two main sources of livelihood: crop farming and fishing. Both are naturally dependent on ecosystems. The region is characterized by recurrent episodes of droughts, floods, and irregular rainfall patterns.
People encroached this vast land of Nyatike, and there were so many cultivation taking place. People were growing maize, and other types of crops.
The good news is that a remarkable transformation is taking shape in Migori's Nyatike sub-county, thanks to a project that aims at improving livelihoods, food security, and boost resilience of small-scale farming to climate change. This through the REGREENING Africa, a project to incorporate trees into croplands, communal lands, and pastoral areas.
Through the effort of ecosystem conservator Migori, Mr. Buto, we managed and we make sure that all the cultivation which was taking place here stopped within 3 months.
The REGREENING Africa project that the government is currently implementing with its climate change partners trains communities on how to rehabilitate the ecosystem to improve access and availability of nutritious food. Charles Othiambo from the World Vision Kenya explains how communities have embarked on a unique farming method known as farmer-managed natural regeneration to restore and improve agriculture, forested and pasture lands.
The first step if a farmer wants to practice FMNR is you go to a site like now where we are. You look at the growth pattern of the trees that are there. If there are new ones coming up, sprouting, then you look at how are they coming up. Once he has selected them, then he has to do careful pruning by cutting them up, from down up. And once he does that, he reduces the chances of causing excessive injury. And when the pruning is done, you also do it in a way that you only go to half of the entire length of the stem from above the ground to where the top of the canopy is.
2 years ago, Samson Ouma's life took a turn courtesy of the new practice.
We used to go without food, as I had told you, but now the harvest is in bumper beans. Even last season, I got over 45 bags, of which I paid the school fee for my boy in Form 1 at St. Gabriel's Godukwaji.
Now, once pruned from these trees, the leaves from these branches are carefully removed and left on the soil to act as manure, while these branches will act as firewood or even be used to make charcoal. Aside from being a farmer, Samson produces charcoal in a more sustainable way and without having to destroy the forest.
The pruned branches are very important, and they have been placed there. The ones for cooking, the ones to be sold at Matanda, and the ones to be used for making charcoal.
Today, his produce has doubled, his family reunited, his children are back in school, creating a cycle of prosperity and better nutrition.
If you go to the house, you will get that I still have more than 10 bags of maize packed, and even if this season fails, I don't have a problem with food.
This one small investment has made the whole difference, and these valleys now help lift an entire community. Purity Museo, Prime Edition, Migori County.
Purity story of rehabilitating degraded land. Let's move on. Close to half of the adolescents in Nairobi suffered depression occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. A report on the impact of the pandemic on adolescents in Kenya has revealed that Nairobi led with 46% of the adolescents exhibiting depression associated with symptoms. The adolescents also expressed frustrations in getting justice in gender-based violence-related cases that also increased during this same period. The government has, however, undertaken to establish programs that will help mitigate the impact of the scourge on adolescents.
Yes, I affirm my ministry's steadfast promise to continue to support development of the roadmap and enable all the other ministries, interagencies, civil society to work together with measurable targets and give a report annually. The report we have launched today highlights key recommendations, including developing a strong multi-sectoral or of government policy approach that addresses adolescent health and well-being.
President of Law Society of Kenya, Nelson HAVI, was on Tuesday arrested over allegations that he allegedly assaulted LSK CEO Mercy Wambua. According to LSK Vice President Caroline Kamende, HAVI was arrested in his office and taken to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations offices for questioning.
Law Society of Kenya President Nelson HAVI has denied assaulting Wambua, instead accusing the LSK CEO of forcing her way into the boardroom to interrupt an ongoing meeting. It is alleged the LSK president slammed a laptop screen on Wambua's finger in the ensuing commotion. Elsewhere, a court in Nakuru has granted some reprieve to the grandson of former President Daniel Moi, Collins Toretich Moi. The court has suspended his committal to civil jail over his failure to avail himself for a DNA test in a paternity test. And the National Chair Lady for Widows organization Charity Betha Gaitho has urged Parliament to fast-track the legislation bills tailored to protect vulnerable groups in the country.
Those things that happen from every county as pertains to the widowhood is what we have put all in place, not about one tribe. It's about every other tribe. Whatever they do to the widows that are not rightful is what we are saying. Let it be put into a bill.
In Mombasa County, Solomon Ngoge has been sworn in as an MCA to replace the late Mohamed Hatmi, who succumbed to COVID-19 complications in November last year.
Narejesha shukurani kwa wabunge wenzangu wa kaunti hii, na ningeomba wanilinde, wanishike mkono, na ningependa kusoma kwao.
This even as the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission made final touches to its preparations for the Kiambaa and Muguga by-elections.
We have trained all our presiding officers, 308 in total, and they are already now involved in arrangement of the materials at the Tallying Center.
Finally, a section of women in Uasin Gishu have lauded the construction of the West Maternity Hospital.
We shall have labor and delivery units where our mothers will be birthing. They'll be having their babies in this facility. We also have a theater where the complicated cases will be operated. We have the postnatal wards where we shall be able to take care of mothers after birth.
The hospital is expected to offer some much-needed maternity services in the region and help eradicate infant and maternal deaths. For Prime Edition, I'm Mboya.
We now take a second commercial break right here on Prime Edition.
And I'll be back shortly driving the business agenda. Stay with us.
My name is Muhammad Ahmed Muhammad, the CEO of Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, popularly known as KDIC, with the mandate of being a risk minimizer, which entails, one, to provide deposit insurance, that is in the unlikely event of a bank failure, that is the insured sum which is paid. Two, to provide incentives for sound risk management. And three is to promptly resolve problem banking, where we are supposed to resolve banks within the shortest time possible for the benefits of the depositors and creditors of our country.
Be sure, check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits. If you have been in contact with someone who is suspected or has tested positive for COVID-19, self-quarantine for 14 days and call 7194 HELP. Self-quarantine restricts movement and the spread of the disease and protects your family, friends, and community from being infected. During self-quarantine, you are advised to stay in a separate room, disinfect surfaces and clothing with appropriate disinfectant, avoid sharing household items, including utensils, towels, and beddings, do not receive visitors, wear an appropriate face mask if you must be around other people. COVID-19 is preventable. Protect yourself, family, and the community. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners.
What does this number mean to you? A pack leader? A winner? Or just a number? To us, it means freshness, boldness, vibrancy, and heritage.
That's why at KBC Channel 1, we make it easier for you to pop up your family entertainment to a fresh, exciting and colorful bouquet.
Welcome to the business segment. I'm standing in for Karen Jenga. Central Bank of Kenya has urged the National Assembly to pass the proposed CBK Bill 2020 that seeks to regulate digital lenders. CBK Governor Patrick Njoroge says the law will help shield the public from predatory interest rates and manipulative terms by some of the micro lenders. Kevin Washira has been following on the proceedings and now joins us for more.
Of the CBK Amendment Bill 2021 now lies in the Finance Committee. The committee now retreats to prepare a report that will be tabled in Parliament next month. Today, CBK Governor Patrick Njoroge appeared before the National Assembly Finance Committee to give the bank's recommendations on the proposed law. The CBK Governor says the Amendment Bill 2021 will empower the regulator to put checks and balances on digital lenders who have been accused of burdening their clients with predatory interest rates.
The biggest issues are consumer protection, but also this data protection, protection of personal data, and collaboration of regulators is the way to go. Everyone understanding their mandate. So there's no confusion, there's no mixing, there's no overstepping.
If the proposed law is adopted, the CBK will have powers to license the digital lenders. Currently, there are more than 20 digital lender companies operating in the country without a legal platform. Attempts to craft regulations to monitor their activities in the past have failed.
We will ask everybody, if you are a digital lender, give us some information about you. Let's begin there, which is the issue that you are mentioning. So even before we have regulations, we'll obviously work with you on the regulations, etc. But even before we get there, now we'll have some teeth. Now I can talk as much as I want, but I have no stick.
If approved, the law further gives CBK powers to compel the digital lenders institutions to disclose sources of funds. This, according to Njoroge, will be crucial in aiding the war against money laundering and proceeds of crime and terrorism. Kevin Washira, Prime Edition.
The government has put on notice people hawking foodstuffs along highways. They says offenders risk jail time of 1 year or 500,000 shillings fine. AFA Director General Kelo Harsama says all foodstuffs on sale should be on a raised platform to reduce cases of food contamination. However, a section of Kenyans have opposed this regulation, saying it will raise the cost of doing business for foodstuff vendors.
In a raft of measures aimed at boosting the country's food safety standards, the government has outlawed hawking of foodstuff along major highways. Agriculture and Food Authorities says all foods on sale must be on a raised platform, adding that most traders put their food product on the bare ground, exposing it to contamination. The regulator further says the foodstuff will also have to be transported separately in an enclosed and well-ventilated vehicle to minimize the risk of contamination.
Produce aggregation done on the ground along roadsides like the ones on Nairobi-Nakuru Highway shall not be allowed.
However, a section of Kenyans have said the regulations is punitive as it will increase the cost of doing business for majority of small-scale foodstuff traders.
Uchumi umeenda juu, hali ya maisha imesonga juu, na sasa hatuna lingine ila tunaomba tu serikali ikaweze kufikiria baadaye kuhusu mambo ya permit.
Biashara ndio tunategemea, hiyo ndio rent, ndio school fees, ndio chakula.
The tough laws will also be implemented to any food processors, with the processors required to get the certificate of compliance that is valid for 12 months. According to the new regulations that target the horticulture value chain, traders will also see all horticulture products sold in 50 kg packaging. Those who flout the rules will face a fine of 500,000 shillings or a 1-year jail term.
Extending carrot bags, one bag looking like 3 bags, that's actually illegal.
Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Let's take you to Kitui County, where residents are set to benefit from a 20 million shilling fruit processing plan to curb post-harvest losses, leverage on value addition and increase farmers' profitability. Kitui Governor Charity Kalukingilu has said that the plant will be used for tomato and fruit value addition.
The food processing machinery has a production capacity of 5 tons per hour, which translates to 800 tons in a month. Kitui Governor Charity Ngilo has said that fresh tomatoes that will be processed at the plant will be used to manufacture tomato ketchup and paste with a shelf life of up to 2 years. The post-harvest quality and shelf life of the fruit in part will depend on post-harvest handling practices such as harvesting, pre-cooling, cleaning and disinfecting, sorting and grading, packaging, storing and transportation.
What we are going to be producing here will have a shelf life of up to 2 years, and without adding any preservatives. It will be pure, done here and put in our markets.
Gilu has further said setting up the Kitui Foods plant will create job opportunities and create a ready market for the farmers, hence diversify their sources of income. Fruit prices will be dictated by the supply and demand chain, adding that farmers will get value of their produce at competitive market prices by organizing the farmers to form cooperative societies to have a strong bargaining power, locking out middlemen.
All those women in the South Coast, once we organize them into their small cooperatives and circles, that they'll be able now to put their tomatoes together. Manufacturing is the way to go for Kitui County and for all counties.
Siku moja mosquito ilipata ujauzito, ikazaa mtoto. Sasa hiyo mama ya mosquito ikatuma mtoto mosquito iende ikapige doria, iwaje kukaa kwa nyumba. Sasa hii mtoto mosquito ikaenda ikarudi. Hii mtoto mosquito ikaambia mama yake, mama, mimi nimeenda kila mahali watu wanapigia mimi makofi, watu wamefurahiana na mimi sana. Mama, hii mosquito ikaambia mtoto yake, hao wapigi wewe makofi eti wanafurahia wewe. Hiyo walikuwa wanataka kuua wewe.
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya mosquito, bonyeza *811*967#. Bonyeza *811*967#.
Mradi wa bwawa la Thwake ni mojawapo ya miradi ya utoaji maji safi inayotekelezwa chini ya uongozi wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta ili kuimarisha maisha na mapato ya Wakenya. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254,
bila infrastructure huwezi inua hali ya maisha ya wananchi, huwezi upate kazi. Bila maji haya ambayo tunafanya, hatuwezi tulime sehemu hizi ambazo tunajua tuko na udongo sawa, lakini ukosefu ni maji. Hiyo ni infrastructure.
Nataka kushukuru president wetu sana, ambaye ameshikilia hii mradi sana na akaingililia mpaka Wakamba wapate maji.
This week on Surura, a warrior whose weapon of choice is glass.
Hi!
A colorful artist teaching others to love who they are through art. And finally, we drift over to join a young group of adventurers taking hiking to new heights.
Wow, why you at home?
That's all coming right up on Zurura. Find your adventure. Only on KBC.
Well, good evening. Thank you for joining us for today's edition of KBC Sports with me, Richard Munga. Now on to a top story tonight, whereby Safaricom has announced the 1 million shillings sponsorship deal for sprinter Mark Otieno's campaign during this year's Tokyo Olympic Games that will take place from the 23rd of July till the 8th of August. Last week, the company also unveiled a 20 million shilling sponsorship for Team Kenya that is set to represent the country at the upcoming Olympic Games.
The 28-year-old athlete defied the odds by using borrowed shoes to finish second in the Olympic trials held at Kasarani last month. Otieno will now have access to the best quality shoes as part of the sponsorship deal, which will also support his training needs and cover his logistics to allow him attend other competitions. Last week, Safaricom unveiled a 20 million shilling sponsorship for the team that will represent Kenya at the Olympics. The funds have been set aside for the ceremonial kit that will be used by the Kenyan contingent at the Games. Mark Otieno's breakthrough came in 2017 when he clocked the Kenyan record of 10.14 seconds to win the national 100 meters title in Nairobi, which booked him a spot at the 2017 World Championships. In his sole 100 meters race in 2020, he clocked 10.27 seconds. Meanwhile, speed stars Ferdinand Omanyala and counterpart Mark Otieno left the country today for Korume City ahead of pre-Olympic camp in Japan.
It's going to help me to focus on next year's races. Paying airfare, not now, this time I won't hustle, so right now, you know, the financial I've been financially supported.
We are also delighted, of course, to support short distance. Kenya, as I've said, is known for mid to long distance, so delighted to be involved with Mark Otieno and also Ferdinand as they represent Kenya in the 100 meters.
The 2020 Summer Olympic Games were postponed last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, Kenya is expected to take over 80 athletes to the Olympics who will compete in athletics, boxing, rugby sevens, taekwondo and volleyball.
Oh, can't help but wonder who won that race. Was it Safaricom's Peter Ndegwa or indeed Mark Otieno? Speaking of races, the annual Standard Chartered Nairobi Marathon is slated for the 31st of October 2021. The marathon, which was officially launched today, will now adopt a hybrid format that includes both physical as well as virtual participation.
The marathon makes a comeback this year after it was cancelled in 2020 due to challenges brought about by COVID-19 and the containment measures required. The newly adopted hybrid format will combine the traditional mass participation, physical race for the elite only with a virtual option for the rest of the participants. The physical marathon, restricted to 2,500 local and international elite athletes, will be held on the Southern Bypass with Carnival Grounds as the marathon venue. With a great view of Nairobi National Park along the bypass, this year's marathon will be a great showcase of our city and its potential in the tourism sector. The virtual marathon will be targeting 13,500 participants. Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
Now on to football matters. The national under-23 soccer team Emerging Stars held their final training session on Tuesday ahead of the CECAFA Championship set to kick off this Saturday in Ethiopia. The team is expected to leave the country tomorrow for the regional tournament.
Emerging Stars held their final training session at the Nyayo National Stadium ahead of their departure to Ethiopia for the regional tournament. Head coach Stanley Okumbi says his charges are well prepared and is hopeful for a positive result. Okumbi noted that the team has had a good session in camp and are ready for the CECAFA Championship.
Tuko na very strong squad, very flexible in terms of contra forward, in terms of defending. So tumekuwa tukiweka tactically kwa sababu fitness level inasema iko fit because wamekuwa wakicheza ma game day in day out.
At
tusipojua hao watu wenye wako hapo wote kuna possibility ya commit any team, so any team yenye tutapangwa nao team iko ready kwa face.
Meanwhile, the players and members of the technical bench underwent mandatory COVID-19 tests before they head out to Ethiopia's northern city of Bahir Dar tomorrow. Kenya's emerging stars have been drawn in Pool C alongside Djibouti and South Sudan. Group A has Uganda, Tanzania and the Democratic Republic of Congo, while Group B brings together host Ethiopia, Burundi and Eritrea.
Well, now to global sports. American stars suffered a second shock defeat before Tokyo 2020 following a 91-83 loss to Australia. The 15-time Olympic gold medalist lost 91-83 to Australia in Las Vegas in a warm-up for the Tokyo Games.
The defeat is the first time they have lost back-to-back exhibition matches since professional players started representing the team in 1992. Between July 1992 and July 2021, Team USA lost 2 exhibition games but have now lost as many in 3 days. The team, coached by Greg Popovic, won Olympic gold at the last 3 games. But after the weekend's 90-87 loss to Nigeria, a first to an African nation, they were unable to find a rhythm with key names such as broken nets. Star Kevin Durant held to 17 points. Damian Lillard of the Portland Trail Blazers finished with a high team 22.
Well, now, speaking of matters basketball, of course, the NBA playoff finals continues on Thursday, 4 a.m., that is local time, whereby the Milwaukee Bucks, trailing 1-2 against the Western champions, that is the Phoenix Suns. Well, we hope to see who will emerge victorious in the 7-game series. And, well, that's it for Sports Night. But remember, for all the stories as well as all the updates before or in preparation of the Tokyo Olympics, you can visit our official YouTube page, that is KBC Sports, or our website, www.kbc.co.ke. Click onto the sports category. Oh, that's it for me. Do have a good night. Pretty Museo and Mboya will be coming to you shortly. Do have a good night.
Now, before we let you go, there's one item here. The doctor who attended the late Keroche Limited heiress TECRA Muigai at Lamu Hospital says that the cut on her forehead could not have come from a normal fall.
TECRA was alive but unconscious when she was brought to the hospital.
The inquest into the death of TECRA Muigai continued on Tuesday, with doctors who attended to her at Lamu Hospital giving testimony on the condition of her injury on the 20th of April 2020.
There was a midline shift of the brain, correct? Yes. There was a significant displacement of the brain. The brain actually within the skull moved. Yes. And as you said earlier, this was an indication of the seriousness of this case.
She did not have any jaundice, what we call yellowing of the eyes. She was not pale. She did not have any blue extremities. She did not have any edema. A respiratory rate, that is the breathing rate of 16. And she was saturating at 98% without any addition of oxygen.
Dr. Barak Mohamed Mubarak told the court that the Keroche Limited heiress was still alive but was not able to communicate on what happened to her before she left Lamu Hospital for further treatment at Nairobi Hospital.
What type of fracture was it?
It was a linear, non-displaced, vertical fracture.
Vertical fracture, linear?
Yes.
But you did not see the scan?
No.
The report was from which who?
from Dr. Taibali, the radiologist.
Omar Lali, one of the suspects into the inquest, came to the court on Tuesday, a day after Nairobi Principal Magistrate Zainab Abdul deferred the prosecution's plea to issue a warrant of arrest for him ignoring 3 court summons to make an appearance at the inquest. The magistrate had, however, issued an arrest warrant against the 3 associates, Kasul Lali, Ali Barak, Ali Bakari, and Abdul Hakina, who are said to have been the first people at the scene where TECRA got injuries that caused her death on the 2nd of May. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
And that report by Gladys Mungai brings us to the end of Prime Edition this Tuesday night. Until next week on Monday and Tuesday, my name is Purity Museo. Lucy Mora has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Good night and God bless.
And my name is Mboya. We hope that the last 1 hour was worth your while on the day that Kenya government issued a 1-week ultimatum to the bandits in Keio Valley to surrender or face the full force of the law. From the capital city of Nairobi, Kenya, good night and stay safe.